nikatafuta do. I got a 2-bedroom house at Kibera Plaza in Kibra. So bedroom moja ikakuwa ni studio, the other bedroom ikakuwa yangu ya kulala, sitting room ikakuwa waiting room. That is where Grandpa Record started. But I believe God has always been on my side. Unapata simu kutoka kwa mtu hajawahi. Yaje mazeni niko pabaya, unaweza nisaidia tu hata na yaunga tu. First person, the second one, the third. Hey, nikasema there is a problem with this COVID. This election, this is how you look at it. Kuna gold and gold coated. So it's for Kenyans to choose.
Hello Tuko family, welcome to Tuko Siasa this week. My name is Kingori Wangeshi, and this week we have a fantastic guest. You know what? He was the first Kenyan artist to be on YouTube, and now he's running for Kibra MP seat, or Kibra parliamentary seat. I'm talking about Noah Yusuf. Yusuf Noah, also known as Refiga. Let's get to hear if he will get the figure to get him to parliament.
Vipi bro?
Salama sana.
Just to correct you before we start.
Yes.
I was the first artist in Africa to be on YouTube.
Not just
Not
in
Kenya, yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
I didn't know about that till recently. I think that was in 2020 if I'm not wrong. So YouTube was celebrating how many years in existence. So kwa site yao hapo, that's when I was posted there. I'm like, hey, I didn't know myself.
Wow.
I didn't know all this time. Mimi nilikuwa naishi tu. Yeah, I didn't know, but wow. I say, glory be to God.
You had that.
Yes.
The first artist in Africa, not in Kenya, to be on YouTube.
But I hope I'm not sounding like a socialite. Najua ndo anapenda sijui nini.
I think it's an achievement.
It's an achievement.
Yes.
Okay.
So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So we have a big fish in the industry,
yes,
if we were to say that.
Okay.
So now, do we call you Mheshimiwa Refiga or Mheshimiwa Yusuf?
Mimi kitu ya kwanza, even when I was launching or announcing my candidature, nilikataa hii kitu, the word Mheshimiwa. I don't want anyone to refer to me as Mheshimiwa. Mimi nataka watu, kama if possible, kama unajua pia watu washazoea hiyo mhesh sana, but mimi ningependa niitwe mtumishi. When you are a leader elected by people, you are a servant. Wamekuandika kazi, uende ukawafanyie kazi. The word mheshimiwa, I feel it has been misused, abused, paka hata hiyo jina ukitaja, watu wengi wako na memory mbaya. Yes.
But you know, in law, when you get to parliament, you will carry that title to the very end.
It's okay, but I don't want to feel entitled to it. But simply call me Yusuf ama unite mtumishi if you must put a title before my name.
Mtumishi.
Yes, mtumishi.
Sawa sawa.
Na watu mistake mtumishi wanafikiri tu ni wahubiri. No.
Servant.
Yes.
Let's begin from the very beginning.
Yes.
What is your education background? Like nowadays I hear there is an issue with
a degree.
Do you have one?
Yeah. I don't have a degree, but I have a diploma in public relation. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something that you will pursue?
Yes. In fact, I think after the elections, I've always had interest in international relations. Yeah, I want to pursue that after the elections.
All right.
Yes.
We wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Now, Refiga.
Yeah.
How did that name come about?
Refiga in Arabic means Rafiki. Yes.
I said you're here for some lessons.
So, mimi katika hali ya kutafuta jina ya kutumia, you know, in the entertainment industry, ukiingia, kitu ya kwanza unafaa kufanya, you need to find a name. You don't use your ID names unless you're an R&B artist. But the rest, you have to get a name.
A stage name.
Yeah, so I was looking for a name, but I believe I'm friendly. Yeah? So I was trying to describe my friendly nature. Rafiki.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is how Refiga came about.
Came about, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And which is that song that went on YouTube?
It's called Kadumala.
Kadumala.
Yes.
I think before we end the interview, we'll get to hear it.
Yeah, lazima. Utaona tu pale I had an opportunity to feature General Defao the late. He was in that video, made an appearance. It was a big deal. So to me, it was an achievement.
Yes.
Of course, I was born and raised in Kibra. Partly in between, I moved to Eldama Ravine, where I stayed with my grandmother for 5 years before she passed. Then I moved back to Nairobi, did Uganda at some point. So maisha yangu imekuwa ya mzunguko. But again, born and bred in Kibra, it has not been easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it, that experience?
Basically, I am not from a rich family, but I can say my mother and late father really tried their best. Walijaribu na ile kiwango walikuwa nayo kuweza kutufikisha kule, waliweza. And I thank God I did not get involved kwa, I can say, kwa gangs za mtaani. I did not get involved into drugs, siku get involved kwa hizo vitu. Na nashukuru, I know people that we grew up together. Some is not by choice, some through influence, some through depression, desperation ya kimaisha. You just find yourself there. So I always say, don't judge someone harshly because of his or her situation. Yes, there's always a story behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, would you remember your first hustle when you finished your education?
My friend, it's not about finishing education. My first hustle, I was 13 years old.
What do you mean?
I was 13 years old and I think sijui wakati hiyo jina ilikuwa ni gani, siku hizo wanaitwanga ma influencer. Social media giza sisi tulikuwa tuna influence kwa ground. Sasa hivi kwa social media si ndio? You have the numbers on social media, but sisi tulikuwa wa ground. So I think I was an influencer of that time. So I remember very well, I wanted to start a football tournament.
Your own?
My own. No, the football tournament was the second business. The first one, I remember I was in Eldama Ravine. The time I told I was in Baringo for 5 years. Katika ile hali ile unajua, you want money, you want to make money, what your parents can give you maybe at most ni 20 shillings. You'll not be given anything more than that. Yeah, nikashikana na mabeste wangu kiasi hapo. Pale ni ushago Baringo. You can imagine, what can you do to get money? So I'm a fast learner. Niliona watu wakichoma makaa. So I told my friends, we can do this thing. Tukaenda after log kubwa. Unaichimba shimo kama kaburi, unaingiza ndani alafu nakata ile nyasi inatoka na
Umechoma makaa?
Yes, nimechoma makaa. Nimechoma, but it takes up to 3-4 days. Sio kitu ya mara moja. Mnakuja mnafufua, alafu mnapata makaa imelala hapo, mnapack, mnaenda mnauza. So that was my first hustle. My second hustle, nilishikana tutana na hao marafiki zangu kwenda kuvuna shamba, kuvuna mahindi. Unavuna kabisa. Yes. I did that. That was in Baringo. So my third hustle was back here in Nairobi. So tournament was a big deal mtaani. So there's my late uncle, it's called Elias. May his soul rest in peace. Alikuwa anaishi hapa Gaylord Ngong Road. He was, back then he was the official coach for KCC, for boxing team. So all of these big boxers and were trained. Kina Napunyi, Omar Kasongo and all that. So I went to his place. Akona a lot of trophies, but ni za boxing. Kabisa zingine hata ziko na sanamu ya mtu amekunja ngumi. Akaambia, I want you to give me 3 of this. Nataka kwanza nayo football tournament. Akaambia, but don't you see?
It's a boxing.
It's a boxing. Akaambia, no, wewe tu nipatie trophy. The rest leave it to me. I convinced him. Akanipatia. Nikarudi mtaani ile, nika make sure mbwembwe nimepiga, niko na trophies na naanza
tournament.
Every team was registering 200. Teams ili register karibu 32. 32 teams. So tukaanza tournament. At that time, the biggest brand in the world was Malcolm X. A t-shirt, what about Malcolm X cape. So you have to go with the trend.
The trend.
So my tournament ilikuwa inaitwa Malcolm X Super Cup. And then I was the referee. And then I had a team coming from my area into Malcolm X United in the same tournament.
You're the manager and the referee.
And the manager, the referee. So I'm saving money.
Yes.
Yes, that's the even some I did without linesmen. Yes. So
did it meet the standards really?
Yes, I didn't meet, but sasa tutafanyaje?
Ni mtaani.
Yeah. So I was the referee. Bado hapo nilikuwa na timu yangu ndani yenye nilikuwa na hope ndo watashinda, lakini walitandikwa mbaya. Yes. So at least 200 times 32. Yeah, nili balance.
Yes.
Na the tournament was successful.
Wow.
Yes.
You're a businessman.
Yeah.
Now,
Ndio.
Grandpa Records.
Ndio.
That's what you are known for.
Yes.
A very successful brand.
Ndio.
Ulianzaje?
During my time as an artist, things were very hard. Kenyan music wasn't accepted. It wasn't played. It was a big hustle. It was supposed to be news, like a radio station out of 4,000 songs that they can play. If they play one Kenyan song, actually they can play one Kenyan song for 6 months.
What?
Yes, that was the ring of Kalamashaka, Tafsiri Hii, those kind of songs at that time. Yeah, they could play one song at that time and best quality, you've not met the standard. There was so much frustration outside here. Artists were suffering. Ukilipo 2,000 for a performance, you're a big time artist at that time.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So, for me, at that time, I was an artist. At the same time, I was trying to struggle to help other artists. So what I did was this. When I was struggling as an artist, but okay, for me, there's a gift I have, and I thank God for that. Najua kuingiana na watu. Like, I really know how to, kuingiana na watu, like, I know how to build friendships. So I feel
we are back to Rafiga.
Yes.
Rafiki.
Yes, Rafiki. So during my struggles and my times, Nikki come up in the industry, nilitengeza friendship mingi sana. The likes of Jimmy Gadhu, Maina Kageni, when I was still at Nation FM, all these people became my friends. In one or the other, nilikuwa nawasumbua paka inabidi wananisaidia. Unajua, utanipata tu hapo Capital FM nimesimama tu na CD yangu. Nation unanipata hapo chini tu, Maina unakuja hivi, anakuona paka amechoka kwa sababu amekuona mara kama 10 akikwambia rudi kesho kutwa. But hivyo paka they feel like there's something in this boy. So wakaamua pia kunisaidia kama msanii, but it was a struggle. The industry hasn't picked. So I remember very well, there was a group, there was a time I met a producer called DJ Stone. I met him pia kona studio hapa somewhere around EACC opposite the flats. He had invited me to his studio. I went. Me myself wanted to record as an artist. Kidogo akaanza kunichezea some of the things alikuwa sha record. Kidogo akanichezea, hello, nataka kuongea na Mariko. I'm like, wow, this should be a hit. I've recorded here over 1 year. I've been trying to take it around. Hakuna mtu anacheza. I'm like, who are these artists? Akaniambia wanaitwa Wakimbizi. Nikamwambia, they sound familiar. Akajaribu kuni-explain to find out it's some boys I knew. We even partly grew up together, but sikuwa najua hiyo nyimbo ni yao. Nikamwambia, let me promote this song. I'm an artist, I'm forgetting about myself, I'm promoting another artist. I took it to Maina Kageni akiwa Kiss 100. I talked to him.
Hii ni miaka gani tunazungumzia?
I'm talking about 2000 and, can I say 2004, if I'm not wrong, around there.
Okay, early 2000s.
Yes, I took it to Maina Kageni. These are my friends. They're looking at me like, okay, you are an artist, you are struggling, and you're here trying to
give these are my friends.
These are my artists. These are my friends. That song was played the first time. Maina Kageni was the first person who played it. It blew up. Mariko, there are two brothers, Mariko and Filter, and their friend Andre. Mariko was working at a construction site. Filter was a waiter at some hotel on Park Road. They didn't believe it. They were an instant hit. Wakachana na hiyo kazi, wakaanza usanii tour and everything, and their life changed from there.
Wow.
Yes. So for me, I tried to do a lot of that. I did that with Chave and Slice, the late Chave and Slice. I don't know if you know them.
Not quite.
That girl say, who's that girl?
I know the song.
Yes, the song was produced by Yolopa, but I did the marketing of the song. So that is where I started building my skills of management and promotion. I was an artist myself. So I wasn't getting anything out of all that. No one even was paying me. Even the people I was promoting, Siati Shikilia, no one was paying me anything. But sikuwa najali. I was building my network na nilikuwa na learn more. So with time nikasema, to change this industry the way I want, I need to cross over to the other side.
Yes.
To put up a record label, put up a management system. That's the only way I could do that. But I did not have that money. So ikakuwa kidogo kidogo zile show zangu nafanya kwa 5,000 ngapi, trying hustle here and there. Pata kidogo, I go and buy a microphone. There's a friend of mine anaitwa Fred Momo. Alikuwa anaishi hapo Chaka Road, najua uko ni uptown. So that is where I used to take all my 1-1 equipments. Na no microphone nampelekea aniwekea. I feel it was more safe there.
Because you had nowhere to take them.
Yes. Nampelekea na niwekea. Kidogo nanunua monitor. Napeleka pale kidogo nanunua mixer. It took me almost 2 years. Yes.
Purchasing equipment one by
one. One by one, pole kadri ya uwezo wangu.
You have seen the journey.
Yes. So ile ikakuwa complete. Nikatafuta do. I got a 2-bedroom house at Kibera Plaza in Kibra. Bedroom moja, nika set up ikakuwa studio. Big up to Nick Styles, DJ Nick Styles. This is my brother. This is the guy. He's an engineer by profession. Yeye ndo alikuja akani set up a studio without even asking me for a single shilling. Alinisaidia sana. Yes. Okay. So bedroom moja ikakuwa ni studio. The other bedroom ikakuwa yangu ya kulala. Sitting room ikakuwa waiting room. So hapo ndio tulianza. Jikoni ikakuwa store. That is where Grandpa Records started. But I believe God has always been on my side.
Yes.
And Grandpa, because tayari nilikuwa nisha study the market, nisha study what the consumers want, how to go about the game, nisha build a network. So it was not, that's why Grandpa Record bounced with a bang.
So it was not an overnight?
No, it was not an overnight thing. Yes.
Wow. And since then, which artist would you say that was one of the best?
I can say I've always worked with the best. I've always worked with the best.
So kila mtu mwenye ameingia
there's
Grandpa.
I always say sometimes even I used to panic. Like everything I touch becomes a hit instantly. Anything I touch becomes a hit instantly. Paka inafika when you're preparing a track or anything,
uko na
anxiety. Kweli nitatoboa raundi hii because inaenda ikiset standard. I can say my first success story was DNA. Maswali mingi kama we ni polisi. That was my first success story.
Yes.
Big up DNA. Respect always.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Of course after DNA came Ken Rezi, Amelina, Kiddies. All these hits. I worked with Waire, I worked with Sauti Sol, that is Fimbo ya Tatu, I worked with Major, Quality Car Hizo. I've worked with so many artists.
Wewe ndiye baba yako kwa industry.
Babu yao.
Oh, babu yao.
Yeah, ni grandpa.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, you retired, right?
Officially last year, technically 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
And you retired for Amazon.
Yes.
And that is the why. That is the reason we are here today.
Yes.
That is the why we are doing this interview.
Yes.
Because you want to run for an MP seat.
In Kibra.
In Kibra.
Yes.
Why Kibra and why did you choose DAPK party?
For me, I've always believed in grooming younger people. In the industry, maybe I've not achieved everything I wanted to achieve. But I believe I've contributed the little I could to change the industry.
That is not little.
And
it's a massive contribution to the entertainment industry.
If you say so.
It's evident.
Yeah. So I wanted to identify people who are more interested into talent management and production and groom them. They take over Grandpa Records, even some can start their own production. So I started that journey 3 years ago. When I technically retired, but officially I did it last year. That is when I made up my mind. I am going for Kibra parliamentary seat. If Ken Okoth, the late, may his soul rest in peace, if he was alive, I will not vie. He is, or he was, or he still remains the real definition of a leader. He was a very close friend. I admired him, everything, how he used to deal with people, what he used to do. Ken Okoth was a great leader, a servant leader. So after he died, everything changed. And people from Kibra started crying from each and every corner. And pressure started coming from the ground. Because for me, all my life, I have lived on doing charities. I used to do it on a personal level. I can't even count how many years I've done that. And in my small scale ways, trying to help hapa na pale. But in 2020, vile corona ikakuwa balaa, that is when officially I started Simama na Kibra as a foundation. We mapped out the place. Tukajua wale watu walikuwa the most affected. We started a food drive and other programs to boost small scale business people. So ikaanza kusaidia watu sana. So pia pressure ikaamka sana kwa ground. You have to go for it, you have to go for it.
Because they were comparing you with
yes.
the former MP.
Yes, so you have to go for it. Nikaangalia, nikaonania watu wanaumia. Things are not the way they used to be. And nikasema najua, who am I? Mungu ameniweka kwa hii maisha with a purpose. Sometimes you don't live for yourself. The way you think, oh, I work hard, now I live for myself, I enjoy life. No. If this is my calling, I prayed about it. If this is my calling and God wants me to do this, and He has chosen this for me, I will take it up. And I made that decision last year, and I said, I am going for it.
All right. Let's talk a little about Simama na Kibra.
Yes.
What exactly were you doing, and how did you begin?
I remember, you know me, I was born and bred in Kibra. And I'm not a special person in Kibra. Mimi ni mtu wa kawaida sana. If you come there and see how I interact with the people, I am not big news when I come to Kibra. Mimi ni mmoja tu wa watu wa Kibra. Like, I'm always there.
Yes.
You get it. I don't take a year to go to Kibra. So during the first wave of Corona, I have friends that we were brought up together, people I know, people who have never asked me even for a single shilling. But during the first wave, unapata simu kutoka kwa mtu hajawahi. Ni haja mazeni niko pabaya, unaweza nisaidia tu hata na ya unga tu. First person, the second one, the third. Hey, nikasema there is a problem with this COVID. Nikasema unajua nini, watu wengi wanaumia, au wananijua, and maybe they know I'm in a position to help with that packet ya unga, you know.
So wale
hawanijui ama hawezi wakanifikia. Ndio wengi, and how msaada watapata kutoka wapi? Boss. Nilikaa usiku mzima, I didn't sleep. I was just thinking about the whole scenario. So I called a very close friend, nikamwongelesha, we had a meeting, nikamwambia I want to start an initiative. Because sahi ni kubaya. No one is making money, vibarua zimesimama, na hizo vitu zote. So, na 90% ya watu wetu wa Kibra, or sisi watu wa Kibra, sisi ni watu wa kazi wa mkono, mjengo, kuuza mboga, kibanda, mama wa kufua. Hizo ndo job zetu ndogo ndogo. Biggest population hiyo, na pesa ni ngapi? 300, 400. And now you're in that position, hauwezi atapata hiyo 300, 400. You can imagine. So nikaform a group of volunteers to come about the place, tukajua the most affected people. So vile tukajua, tukasema now tutaanza systematically how we are distributing food. And of course, kuna ile tulitoa wenyewe, kuna ile tuliomba from marafiki, tukaeka publicly. Triple P TV really helped us a lot. So tukasanya chakula, ikakuwa almost every day. Leo tunaingia hii area hivyo, but at least what we tried, we never used to do like what the populists do. Unaleta lori ya unga alafu unapanga watu laini unga moja moja wapigane to show you have a big crowd. No. As we are going door to door, we are working with village leaderships, chairman wa nyumba 10. So that is how we used to distribute. At least every family tulikuwa tuna make sure we've given you a shopping worth at least 3,000 to 4,000, something that could take you for a month.
Wow.
Yes, that's what we used to do. We did that for 1.5 years. We stopped distributing food late last year.
No, let's get this clear.
Yeah.
You're giving a family
a food that can take them for at least one month. 3,000 to 4,000 per family.
And you did that for over 1.5 years.
Yeah, and we managed to feed at least 3,668 families. You can go to our YouTube channel, Simama na Kibra, you'll see all the activities there. Yes.
That is jaw-dropping, to say the least.
So we did that, and it was successful, and I thank God. Sometimes when I look back, I even don't know how I did that.
Because one would want to
with
imagine.
Support of some organization, friends, I'm telling you even where the support was coming from. Kuna time even we take a list of people, we have 300 people to distribute food to kesho, we don't have the food. But vile inakuja hata hujui. Unasikia huyu amekutumia bandali 2 ya unga, huyu ametuma gunia ya sukari, huyu like that.
That is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
One would want to imagine that you have billions of shillings.
But I'll tell you, is the value I got from Simama na Kibra, which was only in Kibra. Grandpa Record propelled my name, I can say maybe the entire Africa or some countries in Africa. But the value I got from Simama na Kibra alone, it's bigger than what I got from Grandpa Records. Take it from me.
We know you for Grandpa.
Yes.
You're saying that the Simama na Kibra food drives and the support you give the
yes, that
Kibra
one
residents.
touched lives, changed lives. Even me, I feel complete. The value I got from there, bigger than what I got from Grandpa Records.
And the satisfaction that
Yes.
you have helped some families
Yeah.
through a crisis
Yes.
as huge as COVID.
Ndio hiyo.
So they started now telling you, wewe ndio tunataka.
Of course pressure ikaanza kumea from the ground, right, left and center. Ikafika mahali nikasema, you know what? Ni Mwenyezi Mungu anajua what's your calling. Like me, I tried to sing and nilikazana sana. I was not that of a big hit.
But you helped artists.
Yes, I helped artists, but when I cross over the other side, success yangu pia ikafika. So God know what is your calling.
Okay.
If Mwenyezi Mungu ameamua I'll be the next Kibra MP, I will be.
Yes.
That's how I live my life. Yes.
Now, Kibra
Ndio.
is not just a constituency.
Yes. It's the face of Kenya.
And you know that.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it has been under a particular political inclination.
Yes.
And I think for the last 20 years, it has been under ODM.
Yes, yes.
How are you going to counter that wave? Because you are with actually a very newly formed party.
Yes, DAPK.
Yes.
Kibra, I think for the last 28 years, it has been under the ODM rule. And politics keep on changing. Before ODM, it was under KANU. The Philip Leakey, the late Yunus Ali, you know, all the MPs who were there before Raila.
Yes.
So it was under KANU. And then it was not under ODM, actually. When Raila came, he came through Ford Kenya. I think he did Ford Kenya.
Then LDP.
And then LDP, NDP. I can say he did ODM 10 years in Kibra. And then after him, it followed with Ken Okoth, you know.
Yes.
ODM. So the most interesting bit with this election is the Azimio coalition, which is being led by Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Is we are working as a family, as a team. And right now, there's nothing called six-piece. If it's six-piece, let it be under the coalition of Azimio, not a certain party.
So,
Unless there is a zoning in that party, in that area, specific area. But in Kibra, there is no zoning. I'll be contesting against Mwalimu Peter Orero, who won the ODM tickets. And all I can say is, may the best man win. If Orero carries the day, it's still a win for us in Azimio. If I carry the day, it's still a win for us in Azimio.
Mtumishi,
yes.
Let me get this right.
Yes.
The coalition, Azimio coalition,
yes,
has a presidential candidate.
Yes.
But the other seats are not under the coalition.
Yes.
The
only person who will not be zoned is the president.
Okay, now...
The only person who is zoned is the president, rather.
This is different from what we had in 2002 under NAC.
Because I say politics keep on changing, the dynamics, yeah.
So assuming we have ADM, we have DAPK, and we have UDA. Your parties are under Azimio. Don't you risk kupita katikati kwa UDA?
I hope if Mariga was a threat, we would have merged.
Or you would have merged.
Yeah.
So you don't.
If he was. Anyway, again, you see, another thing. Yeah? I hope you don't get by. Anyway, another thing is, you see, right now, Kenyans, I'm sure you've had this talk going around. Hatuchagui chama, tunachagua kiongozi. I'm sure you've had that all over
the country.
So right now, that is what, even in Kibra, it's the same. Hatuchagui chama, tunachagua kiongozi. Yes, I'm with the DAPK ticket. Orero is with ODM. But people are going to vote a leader who has been with them throughout. Mwenye amefanya kazi ambaye inaonekana watu wanajua, that is the person people are going to vote. Wakenya wameamka boss. That wanatijio, wewe ni Mkikuyu, Kikuyu tunasimama hivi, wewe sijui ni Mluya, Waluya wanasimama hivi, wewe sijui ni Mjaluo. Watu wamechanuka. What people went through for the past 5 years, what they've gone through, believe me, no one will ever go through that path again.
All right.
Yes.
Now, can you define the constituency for us? The number of voters, the wards, how does it look like?
Yes, Kibra, the population is above 350,000. And we have 5 wards. We have Lindi, we have Laini Saba, we have Makina, Sarangombe, Woodley Golf Course. And registered voters are 114,000.
It's a huge number.
Yes.
Are there other things that you've done in Kibra that people can identify with or can relate with?
Yes. I've done the biggest tournaments in Kibra.
Oh, the dream came to be after.
Yes. Yes, I've done the biggest tournaments. I managed to bring the CEO of City of London Football Club, Mr. Says Holmes Lewis, the head of recruitment, Crystal Palace Football Club, Mr. Jamal Jarrett. I invited him in 2018 and 2019. They came to Kenya.
As a person?
Yes, as a person.
Okay.
So I told you I'm good with people.
Crystal Palace?
Yes.
You brought the head of recruitment in Kibra?
Yes. You can go through my profile and check.
Wow.
Yes. I brought them to Kibra. And for me, I don't like working as a populist. I always like finding long-term solution for my people. So when I brought them, the first time I invited them for a tournament, stadium was full and all that. But they were not impressed. They got very good players that they wanted to take for trials. But wakaniambia, they asked how old are they? The youngest was 23. They're like, we can't work with that. In England, at least, we can do 19-year-old at most. Yes. So do this. We will come back again. We help you put structures together for a modern academy. We want to start dealing with from 5, 7, 8, 10 years as we are grooming them.
So they start early?
Yes. For me, I was okay with that. So they helped me. They supported me with uniforms, with boots, with balls. They helped me a lot for over 50 teams. So when they came back for the second time, I identify a land in Saigeri, somewhere deep in Ngong.
I know that place.
Yes. I identified a land which is still there. I am looking for partners. I'm looking for people who will support me to put up a modern day football academy that has never been seen in Kenya. So they came, they helped me with how we can go about everything. And of course, after that COVID happened, we could not do much. So they are coming back again in September after the elections. And then tuone ni nini tunaweza tukafanya.
So whatever you touch,
God is always with me.
So now, what are you projecting to do for the Kibra people?
You see, there's so much I want to do for the Kibra people. That's why I say manifesto is very boring. To present a beautiful manifesto, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can do that. Some even can go and download. Wakusomea manifesto ilo jaisikia. Noma kushinda ya Obama. So, I decided to engage people so that I can have a people-led manifesto. Of course, it should be what is their problem and how to solve it. Me when I get to office, the first problem na ni kubwa sana Kibra yote, and everyone is facing that. There is no single house in Kibra that has a running water continuously. Hakuna hata moja. Yes. Hakuna. Yes.
So
Hakuna.
water is a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. Na ukipata, kuna watu hata maji haiko karibu nao, inabidi watembe distance kidogo. So, kuna watu wanaletewa na mkokoteni, na 20 liters ni 20 shillings. At least minimum unahitaji 100 liters in a day kuoga, kupika, kukunywa, and all that. So inamaanisha, you need 100 shillings. Ule mtu anafanya kazi ya 300. So 100 inaenda kwa maji, hajanunua chakula, hajalipa rent. So some even struggle, of course, bado anabeba kwa kichwa, akienda atanunua 5 bob ajibebe, it's a struggle. Atabeba maji saa ngapi, ataenda kibarua yake saa ngapi, so it's a struggle. So, of course, with the proper housing, I'm sure running water will be there. But that will take time. So we need to look at temporary solution before we get there. Of course, the temporary solutions we need boreholes. At least in every 100 houses, we need borehole. At least 10,000 liters borehole. I've done 2 in Kibra already. Through a very good friend, I delivered 1 to Kibra Primary School and 1 in Woodley. And I believe through, you see, a leadership, most members of parliament, once they get elected, they look at that CDF grant. What the government give you, umeka hapo, unatafuta ya kuiba, alafu ile ya kupiga PR kuonesha watu unafanya kazi. I always say, when you are a leader and you don't have network, or you can't create network, you don't have any business to be a leader. Unafaa kukua ule mtu who can go all out for his people, who can, build connections for his people. So for me, I look at not sitting down, okay, I'm waiting sijui pesa ya CDF ingie ndo niweze nika. No, that one is okay. Tunaweza kufanya nayo kile tunaweza tukafanya, but we have the private sector, we have non-government, we have a lot of people outside here that you can be able to get them and present your initiative or your program na washikane na wewe. Like right now, we are working on scholarships with one of our partners. At least they'll be giving us full scholarship of 18 students every year in Canada. Yes. So as a leader, you have to be that person who can go out there, tafuta njia yote. Locally here, Simama na Kibra, tumekuwa na partnership with Generation Kenya, which is an American organization, but they have a branch here. We've been working with them for the last 3 years. They offer vocational training. So far, through Simama na Kibra, they've taken 318 students to study for catering, marketing, kazi za mikono, digital customer care. They are trained and their lives has changed. And Generation, the good thing about them, unamaliza kazi na unamaliza shule na wanakutafutia kazi. So you see, in my small way, nimejaribu, and I'm not in that office. So I always tell people, if you're going to elect a leader, do a background check. Maybe hajakusaidia wewe, but kuna mtu amesaidia. That's how I look at it. That's why I say manifesto ni kelele. Anyone can come and present you the most beautiful manifesto that you've never heard before. Na useme ndo huyo kiongozi. Alafu baada ya election, huyo anakuja 6 months to election sasa, akizunguka na 50 bob.
And you're not a leader. I mean, you're not elected.
Yes. And I was able to do what I could. So if people of Kibra elect me, I believe I'll do more. Kibra as it is, with population of over 350,000, we don't have a single vocational training institute.
The entire constituency?
The entire constituency, we don't have one. We don't have a talent hub. So, nikimalizana na maji, even if it's the temporary solution, I'm heading to the vocational training institute, then a talent hub. There's a lot I need to do, and I don't want to give timelines. Hapo ndo wanasiasa, they use that to woo people, yeah? And then baada hapo inakuwa ni kesi. Oh, alisema no. Mimi naweza sema hata afadhali nianze na hizo 2 ama 3 nimetaja. Within the timeline nitaweza kukamilisha. Nikishakamilisha, then I start another one. Maybe in the first term ya 5 years, I'll be able to achieve maybe 3 or 4. Nimalizane na hiyo. I want to be this leader. Nataka nichape kazi when I get to that office. Ikifika 2027, saa zile wanasiasa wanajitokeza 6 months to election, I'm going for holiday. That's the time I'm going for holiday, and I'm coming back wiki moja to elections. And nakaa tu naangalia TV nikikula popcorns na ngoja kupigiwa kura kulingana na ile kazi nimefanya. Yes. Me, I want my job to campaign for me. Yes. I don't know wanasiasa kwa nini wanachanganyikiwa. Imagine if you're honest. Yeah? You want to serve your people. Fanya kazi. Kazi ionekane. Let it get to the people. Imagine time election. Saa ile 6 months watu wanaanza kukimbia. Nenda holiday. Nenda Seychelles pia kidogo upepo inipige huko. Narudi hivi 2 weeks to elections. Napigiwa kura. Don't you remember the late Honorable Grace Kipchoim wa Baringo? Alikuwa kwa hospital bed like the entire 6 months. She did not campaign, but she was voted. It was landslide. Kwa nini? Kazi alifanya. Hii unaona watu wanakimbia na pressure, hakufanya kazi. You're trying to convince people na 100 bob, 50 bob, hakufanya kazi. So I'm telling all aspirants, my friend, when you get to that office, siri ni kuchapa kazi, ujipunguzie pressure when the next election comes. Yes.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And we hope that in September we'll have a sit down, we'll have an interview in Kibra when you become the Member of Parliament.
Inshallah.
And we'll see what you'll have started to do then.
Yes. Nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, and I believe God has always been on my side and he'll still be on my side. And people of Kibra will work with me because wanajua ile kidogo nimefanya. Nikipata nafasi, naweza nikafanya zaidi ya hiyo. They know that. Yeah.
Since your party is an Azimio, what do you have to say about the party leader, I mean the party leader of Azimio coalition? And why should Kenyans vote for him?
Raila is the same. I say it's about the track record. Look at the person. For Raila, his history speaks loud. You know what he stands for. He's the person who fought for this democracy we have today. You know, during the formation of the Grand Coalition, alijinyima and he endorsed Kibaki. That is a servant leader. And all these years, in one way or the other, hajaweza kupata hiyo kiti. But if there's something I admire about His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, the resilience. Yani, he's the real definition of a leader. Hakufi moyo. Paka saa zingine nashindwa mzee anatoa wapi hiyo nguvu. Wengine hapa vijana wadogo tu ukipata heartbreak kidogo you're gone. Wengine hata anakuwa anakunywa sumu ya mapenzi tu. And that one, you are carrying hopes of millions of people in this country who are looking at you. It doesn't happen unaamka and you pick up again and you go. And you see, this election, this is how you look at it. Kuna gold and gold coated. So it's for Kenyans to choose. And I'm sure everyone wants pure gold. His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga is the pure gold we are talking about. And then the gold coated, I even don't know who that is, but do hivo.
Awesome. Let's get to know you a little more at a personal level. You have a family?
Yes, I'm a married man, and I have a son and a daughter.
Good.
Yes.
Some few fun questions. What are your hobbies and interests? What do you like to do when you're not standing with Kibra, hausimami na Kibra?
I like hiding in my own space na kuvuta baridi.
Kuvuta baridi?
Baridi. Upigwa na upepo, because I rarely get that. I just go Limuru, Tigoni, Baringo, somewhere. Nipigwa na upepo. That's what I love doing. And that one can happen once after 6 months. It takes me long before I even get a 1 day off. And
do you think that will increase or decrease even further when you get to parliament?
But one thing with me, I'm the kind of a person, kama sijakamilisha kitu, I will never relax. Even lunch, I won't eat. I know myself. Yeah.
Okay. Suits or jeans?
There's a day for suits, there's a day for jeans.
Boots or sneakers?
There's a day for boots, there's a day for sneakers, there's a day for official shoes.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like coffee or tea?
Tea. I've never tasted coffee in my entire life.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you drive? Are you driven? Do you ride bikes?
I don't like to be driven. I always drive. I like being in control.
That might change very soon, though.
No, it will never change. The only time I'm driven ni kipanda nduthi. Mupanda nduthi. Yes.
Now, whiskey, vodka, or beer?
I've never tasted anything alcoholic in my life.
Awesome. Okay. When we are seated here, there's so much that we are getting from you.
Yeah.
So much knowledge.
Yes.
So where do you acquire your knowledge from? Do you read? Do you watch? Do you listen to music?
Some through experience, some through reading, and of course some through inspiration. Kisikiza muziki. Yes.
Okay. So what are you listening to right now?
Kwa gari yangu, I have a flash with over 5,000 songs. From rumba to gengeton to old school Kenyan music to R&B to hip hop to reggae. Reggae kwanza ndio imedominate. Unajua Kibra sisi ndio, hiyo ndio Jamaica ndogo hapa Kenya. Yes.
What is your what can you consider as your lowest moment in life?
Honestly, that will still go back to COVID. And when I saw Kibra suffering, people could not go out. You know, during COVID, actually I cannot even say, I can say Kibra because that's where I go and spend most of my time, so I interact with people. But the entire country, the entire world came to a standstill. That is the time ulijua umuhimu wa maisha. That is the time ulijua gold and gold coated. Because kuna watu walishindwa kabisa even to make a step. But kuna watu walisimama kidete and they managed to pull through. So I can say the pandemic was my lowest moment because I had to deal with so much. I had to try my level best to reach out so many people. There was challenges, there was struggle, but it was my lowest, but I can just thank God. Nilipata hiyo nguvu and I pulled through. Yes.
Now let's ask the reverse.
Yeah.
What is your highest moment in life?
My highest moment in life, okay, there's a lot of highest in life, but I can just say when I managed to do what has never been done in the entertainment industry. was one very happy man. I'm the first person who introduced a comeback of an artist in the entertainment industry, and that was DNA. Because DNA was big even before working with me, Banjuka those days. But of course, a lot happened along the way, and akatoka kwa chart, and life happens. But when we met, of course, he was not visible in the industry and all that. When we met, he was not even sure of himself. I told him we can do this thing. Mimi ni mtu napenda kupanga. I'm a strategist. Tulika naye chini, kafanya ngoma maswali ya polisi. He's like, will it work? Because every time in the world, not even Kenya alone, when an artist get off the charts, aanguke, hata ufanye nini hakuna kurudi. People won't give you a chance again. Ni kama heartbreak ya bibi na bwana, ushaenda, history imeisha. Very few can, can take you back. I told him it's going to happen. I believe we planned well, we executed well, and bounced back with a bang. That was maswali ya polisi. And he did tours across the US, Europe, kila kona, Africa, Egypt, South Sudan. Yeah. Actually, it was a more bigger success for him than during the time for Banjuka. So to me, that was my first happiest moment. And of course, there's others. Yeah.
There is somewhere that you were this morning.
Yes.
What is that you do?
3 weeks ago, we had meet and engage with small-scale traders across Kibra. So we are going village to village. So we were talking to them, understanding some of the challenges they go through. And pia sisi tuweze kuona how we can be able to help them. So we did that 3 weeks ago. We went around Kibra yote. So today we had a date with traders from Kambimuru, Kisumu Ndogo, Lindi, and Moyale Ndogo villages. There are 169 in total. We had a date with them at Odhaya Market here in Kibra, where they normally buy their stocks, ya mboga, ya vitungu, fruits, yeah? So we were stocking for them. And that's why I keep on saying, Mimi, I will never do campaign handouts. Anyone who's giving you handouts doesn't love you. Huyu ni mtu hakujali, huyu ni mtu anakutumia. Afadhali nikupe boost, kitu inaweza kukutoa from point A to point B. And that's what we did. I can't afford to give them capital like every time they need it, but I believe this ones I have done, it can take them from point A to point B. So I'm going to do the same in all the wards in Kibra. Yes.
All right. Now, this is your camera, Mtumishi.
Yes.
Please ask for votes from the Kibra people.
Wana Kibra, nimekuja mbele yenu kwa unyenyekevu na kwa ukarimu, naomba kura zenu. Nimejaribu kadri ya uwezo wangu for the last few years, nikaweza kufanya yale kidogo kidogo ningeweza kufanya hapa na pale, na naamini mkinipa nguvu, mtembee na mimi, tarehe 9 August munipigie kura, niingie kwenye bunge. Mimi nitakuwa mtumishi wenu wa kiukweli, na nitawatetea kwa kila njia, na hakuna siku mtu atalia Kibra mnyonge. Hiyo ndio kwa maana najiita mtetezi wa wanyonge. Na hii safari, kama mnavyojua jina yangu ni Yusuf Noah. Hii ndio meli ya Noah, iko tayari. Muingie ndani tuende pamoja. Kwa maana unajua wale hawakuingia kwenye hiyo meli, unajua kile kilifanyika. Naomba kura zenu kwa ukarimu, kwa unyenyekevu, muniingize kule bunge na nitawafanyia kazi. Thank you so much.
Tuko Siasa wishes you all the best.
Asante sana bro.
Tukutane bunge.
Tukutane bunge, tufanye kazi, sio kutukana watu, ila kuwahudumia wananchi. Kuwatumikia.
Na mtumishi.
Mtumishi Yusuf Noah.
That is how we end it here on Tuko Siasa. This week, we just had Mtumishi Yusuf Noah running for Kibra MP seat using the DAPK party. My name is Kingori Wangeshi. It's always a pleasure to have you here on Tuko Siasa. Until next time, remember to subscribe if you've not subscribed. But if you have subscribed, then you may sign up for our YouTube membership and or Patreon. The description carries the details. Goodbye.